This is Lansdowne World, the voice of the fans, and this is the Under-17s World Cup preview. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAvoy, and we're here to take you through the boys in green and their maiden voyage at the Under-17s World Cup. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. You can head over to lansdowneroad.ie, lansdowneroad.ie. And if you want a little bit of extra raw in your cornflakes to support what we do, you can head over to Raw Plus. The link to that is below in the description, so please do subscribe to that and give us money, please, because we're poor, we're desperate. I mean, I'm wearing hand-me-downs, but anyway. So yeah, we're here to talk about the Under-17s World Cup, which the boys in green will be playing in, which starts in the next couple of days. Conor, before I talk the lovely Raw faithful through it, I suppose I better ask you, how are you?
I'm alive and kicking. I'm actually buzzing for the week ahead, Dave. I can't wait for the World Cup to start to get back into seeing some Irish teams involved again. And this one will be extra special as we have a unbelievable group of players going to take over the world. We can actually say it. We can actually say the Irish are taking over the world. As someone once says, we weren't here to take part, we're here to take over. But I won't say who said that. Might get us in trouble. But yeah, I'm good. I'm ready for a big week. Are you?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it'll be my... Well, I've seen Ireland in several World Cups, to be fair. I know.
It's actually my first ever for on the male side. I think it'll be actually my first one I'll ever remember of Ireland at any age group in a football World Cup.
I know, that's bless you. If you were right there, I'd give you put your hair out of place and give you a little kind of pat on the head. Yeah, God love you. I've seen Ireland in many World Cups. I think we finished third. With Brian Kerr in the under 21, under 18s, was it? A few years back.
16s, was it?
Yeah, when we were the European champions under Brian Kerr, which obviously was a precursor to this tournament. No, really looking forward to it. Look, we need a bit of positivity in the old senior men. Well, in the men's game, I suppose. Women doing fantastic with the Nations League. They're in Group A. Brilliant in a playoff for the World Cup. Fantastic. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, let's hope. I'm sure they're going to do us proud anyway. They're a really good group, some really good players in there as well. We're going to just talk a little bit about the tournament, and then we're going to talk about the boys in green. So, the Under-17 World Cup, which runs from the 3rd of November to the 27th of November. It is the 20th edition of the tournament, and for the first time, the event features 48 teams, expanded from the earlier 24-team format. The tournament is now held annually, and Qatar will host it for 5 consecutive editions up until 2029. The final will be held in the Khalifa International Stadium in Doha with a capacity of 45,857. How it works, there are 48 teams divided into 12 groups, A to L, with 4 teams in each. From each group, the top 2 teams plus the 8 best third place teams advance to the round of 32. Then knockout stages of 32, 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and a final, plus a third place playoff. So you never know. This is who the boys in green have in their group. We're going to have a little tiny look at the fixtures. But they have Panama, Uzbekistan, and Paraguay. And of course, you play Panama on the 5th. That's the first game. Uzbekistan on the 8th. And then the final group game on the 11th against Paraguay under 17. So, Conor, do we have a chance?
Of course we do. We'd have a chance no matter who we have in the group. I have a lot of faith in this group of players. I know they're still kids and it's still kids football, but especially at this age, don't you? And it's been a roller coaster to get here so far, hasn't it, Dave? So it'll be a roller coaster as we go and win the World Cup for the very first time as such. But yeah, it's been a wild ride to get here, but I'm confident, and it's good to actually have some countries that we never face ever in our group: Panama, Paraguay, Uzbekistan. When did Ireland ever face them at any level, even in the women's game either? So yeah, it'll be a great spectacle, and it's one of those things, isn't it, Dave, that we don't know what we're coming up against. No matter what you think, particularly when you look at a country maybe like Uzbekistan, you think, oh no, they're how are they in this? They're not a football nation. We should be comfortably beating them. And then you realise, you go back to the last Under-17 World Cup, and they knocked England out in the quarter final, I believe. So there are no mugs in football. I know they could be going through a golden generation, or the last team was maybe a golden team, but like they're not a minnow really as such in underage football at all anymore. Like in terms of the Asia Cup, they won all their games. They beat the likes of Saudi Arabia, North Korea, UAE, China, Thailand. I don't know, some of them aren't your powerhouses as such. And then in the CAFA under 17 championship knockout, uh, they won their games to get qualified, and they lost to Tajikistan. Is that how you pronounce it, Dave? I'm not that versed in that country. I know if you've seen it.
Yeah, yeah, why
Uh,
not?
yeah, whatever you call them. But anyway, but in fairness, they did lose in the Asia Cup final against Saudi Arabia, who obviously would be in the tournament as well. So they did come second in Asia, but they would be no mugs whatsoever. Like they're sort of country that you cannot write off. And I know we'd be saying, oh yeah, what are you going to do against them? But I think the first game against Panama will be a real target to go up and get 3 points. When you look at them, they qualified in their group. Their CONCACAF group was themselves Dominican Republic, Aruba, and Grenada. And in fairness, they played 4 games, or they played 3 games, won all 3 with a +12 goal difference. Beat Dominican Republic 2-1, Aruba 3-0, Grenada 8-0. And the problem there is probably us. It's hard to really judge who they're playing because they're not they're not like the countries are playing. You would probably instantly think, oh, they're not the highest level. Obviously, Dominican Republic gave them a good game, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of level they are. And then obviously Paraguay, Dave will be seen on paper as your traditional toughest test. They got to obviously they were in the South American pool, and they were in they finished fifth in the under 17 South America placements, because obviously they got in their group, they beat Peru, lost Argentina in the group, beat Colombia, lost to Chile. Then it went to knockouts. They beat Ecuador on penalties, and then actually they went and played Argentina again, and they beat Argentina on penalties the second time they played them. So they came fifth in that, which is a very impressive feat. Obviously beating Argentina on penalties, so they are going to be probably looked at as our toughest test. And maybe it could get to see it where it gets to the last game and you're playing Paraguay to top the group. But you'd hope maybe if you're on 6 points or 4 points. And the thing is, Dave, we have the massive advantage this time. Is did you say earlier? I can't remember that the third place teams, like is it the 8 best third place teams qualify? So yeah, it's 3 points would probably qualify. I don't, not definitely, but it would leave you in great stead heading into knockout round. So like all 3 of these countries are actually going to be real tests. And even if you look on paper and think that, but when you dig into the results, they're actually all doing very well in underage football. Like, and it's going to be a real test, and it's the sort of thing you can prepare as much as you want. You're really not going to know what these sort of opposition are like until you're on the pitch and you're facing up against them.
Yeah, just looking here, like at the previous winners, like Nigeria have won it the most times. Germany are the current champions, but they were literally that is their first title. And yeah, I mean, even Saudi Arabia have won this. So you don't really know. You look at some of these teams and go, really? No, Mexico won it in 2011. And I suppose I don't want to sound like I'm going to sound like a snob, but you look at, I know Nigeria have done very well in obviously the AFCON, but they never won the World Cup. I think that the most the farthest they've ever got to quarterfinals in a World Cup. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't kind of lend itself to its traditional tropes. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, or am I being a snob?
Yeah. No. It does make total sense. Like I know Ukraine have done very well. I actually remember they won the under 20 World Cup not that long ago. Morocco, in fairness, Morocco were turned into a brilliant footballing nation and invested serious money with a lot. They won the under 20 World Cup there, beat Argentina in the final. And no matter how good Morocco are at football, they're never expected to beat Argentina. So like it is always like, and like the fact is now, especially with this expanded tournament, Dave, I think it will lead to more upsets and more shocks in it, because the reality is like if you would have qualified the way to only really qualify from Europe for previous terms, would you have to qualify for the tournament, which used to be, I know it used to be actually, because Ireland, it's funny enough, Ireland didn't even qualify for the Euros in the summer because they made the tournament smaller for some stupid reason. I don't understand why. I think it was like for saving lads like minutes, but like you're an underage tournament for young lads whose bodies usually are okay to keep up with the amount of football they play at that age. And obviously Ireland finished second in the group to Belgium, and funny enough, Ireland qualified for through like being one of the best runners up, and that you'd usually have to get to the tournament and get to the semi final, and then it's only the top 4 teams in Europe would qualify. And now because it's expanded, it'll probably lead to more teams getting upset because there's so little between teams underage level. It can be one mistake by a goalkeeper or one player that is just developed very early that can take over a game out of nothing. So I think it'll lead to maybe more upsets, and you see more countries that you couldn't
Yeah.
even believe go win a World Cup.
No, absolutely. I mean, just by the way, it was the under 17s youth championship that Ireland finished third in. We beat Ghana in a third place playoff. Damien Duff got one of the goals. Just thought I'd share that with you. Desi Baker and Damien Duff with the goals. Yeah, no, it can. I mean, and obviously Qatar are going to host it because they could put the money up for it. Goodell sports washing. Sorry, we can't say that. But they're clearly putting the money up for it, and they're going to have it every year, I suppose every 4 years. And I suppose that's only a good thing for you in a weird way. Well, and I mean, look, in a non-political, non-human rights sort of thing, it's for football, it's a very good thing to have these lads playing as much football as possible at this rate, repetition and all that. So yeah, it's a good thing football wise, obviously. But yeah, good old Qatar. But it was a hell of a journey for Ireland to get there.
Yeah.
Talk us through how you got there.
Yeah, mad, Dave. Actually, think back to this time last year. I put a tweet up the other day of goodness Ogbonna getting the magical goal and up in Belfast to get here. And yeah, it's been a wild journey, Dave. I think you can put that lightly. Like, it all started back this month last year in Belfast, where Ireland took on Lithuania, Northern Ireland, and Scotland in the, obviously you'd say, the preliminary European Championships before the elite rounds. And it didn't start that well. Ireland first game, they went 2-0 up to Lithuania, and Lithuania came back and drew 2-2 with them, which is obviously considered a bad result. Actually, Lithuania actually beat England under 17s last week, which is another, but Lithuania may be improving, but it was a bad result. And then it got even worse in the second game. Ireland lost 3-1 to the North. And then you're thinking, God, these lads aren't even going to qualify. And lo and behold, Ireland, you'd say they were probably blessed, Dave, but you do create your own luck. When Ireland went into the last game knowing they needed to win and win comfortably, and lucky enough, Ireland went into the last game needing Northern Ireland to beat Lithuania and needing to beat Scotland to finish on the same points as Lithuania, and they needed a goal difference swing. And Ireland beat Scotland 3-0, but finished on the same points as Lithuania for second place. And finished on the same points difference, finished on the same goals conceded, goals scored, and then it came down to yellow cards. And Ireland qualified for the league rights on least amount of yellow cards and fair play. So it shows the benefit of playing by the rules and maybe licking up the ref sometimes and not diving and not doing stuff, maybe not going up to the ref's face and shouting on his face. It shows the benefits of yellow cards. This is probably something that'll stick with this group of players.
It's currently sticking with the current men's team, but anyway.
Yeah, but in fairness, yeah, because the thing is, if you look at this group of Irish players, David, it all starts back at under 15 level. They went to a tournament in Italy at under 15 level, and they won the tournament, beat Italy in the final, and you were thinking then, oh, this is a really good group of players, but they were so young. I believe I think they went a full year unbeaten at under 15 level. They beat every single team they played. And then under 16 level, they won the Victory Shield. They were by far, I watched that, it was probably the best Ireland Victory Shield team I've seen in terms of the style of football they were playing. And they were passing Scotland, obviously Northern Ireland and Wales off the park. And they were by far head and shoulders above everyone else. And then you're thinking under 17s last year, you were thinking, yeah, these lads, they'll comfortably get through these 3 groups or 3 games, or they'll finish top on 7 points anyway. They might draw a game because that's just what happens in football. And then after Lithuania Northern Ireland game, you're thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? What are these lads going backwards? Because they were such a good group. But then when you look back, it was Jade Numa had just signed for Benfica, and he was just off a knee not surgery, but like he was just back from his long-term knee injury, which obviously Jaden's seen as maybe the main man in this group. Roy Finneran was only back from injury. So it was a lot of lads were kind of weren't at their best, and it was a really tough time to really have them qualifiers. But they got through, which was the main thing, Dave, and they showed their class, what maybe the experience they had playing through with each other from under 15 levels up, because so many of them are still there now that were there back then. And then it went on to March, where it was the qualifiers in Poland, and they needed really to qualify for the Euros. You needed to top the group, and then obviously it came down to second place to get into World Cup, and it didn't start well. Obviously, they lost to Belgium 1-0 in the first game. They were very, very unlucky to lose that game. They probably should have won that game, in fairness, in terms of how well they played and the chances they had. But it was just one of those days. Belgium got the goal, and Belgium beat them 1-0. And then
Let me tell
Ireland
you.
Ireland knew they needed to beat Poland and Iceland the last two games to have a chance, because it wasn't confirmed that they were going to get in the best runners up. And to beat Poland 2-0, Jade Numa scored a brace. I think everyone's seen that and thought, this kid is very, very, very good, because there were two outstanding goals. And then went on to Iceland and beat Iceland 5-0, which obviously was a big scoreline, because Iceland are actually turning into one of the better nations in underage football, and Ireland put them to the sword, really. And that performance there was enough to qualify Ireland for the World Cup. And obviously the scene would have been very good. It would have been a great time to be around the camp to see what the reaction was when they found out, because they actually had a bit of waiting to do before they could find out, because they obviously, you're relying on other results, and some teams may have finished on 7 points and qualified for the World Cup off that, and Ireland were relying on 2 victories, so it wasn't 100% guaranteed. But then
Yeah.
that was set in stone, and they knew they were qualifying to Qatar. They finally got here, and obviously they've had warm up matches since, but nothing replicates really elite competitive matches. So it's been a wild journey.
Yeah, no, I'm best luck to them. When you have a chance, there's a good group of players which you're
Yeah.
going to have a look at now. Remember, it's under 17s football. It's a much more level playing field. It really is, and you're going to have shocks and surprises along the way. And we will be with you along the way. We're going to be watching this. We're going to be doing podcasts all throughout this tournament. I think someone said they would be disappointed if we weren't in Qatar.
Yeah, good man, Mark Romy. Yeah, he's like disappointed how they were packing our bags to go.
Yeah.
We blame whoever wants to sponsor us. Well, it's not too late, Dave. It's not the Wednesday. It's not even to Aurora Plus.
Yeah.
Just we'll sponsor your flights, and you'll get free advertisement. It's not free advertising because you're paying for flights. But you pick our flights, and I will be there. Anyway, Dave can stay at home. He's a rabbit to mind. I will go to the World Cup. Don't you worry.
That's true, actually. Yeah, she was kicking off today. Ironic because she's got 3 legs. Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to send Conor to Qatar, you can make a donation in the coffee below. It's in the link. Buys a coffee. Yeah, no, I mean, soon, guys. But if you want us to go to these things, go to Roar Plus, subscribe, give us a few do re mi, some kabashta, and we'll make it happen. But anyway, let's have a look at the squad. And we'll start with the goalkeepers. Of course, you've got George Maloney of Southampton, Alex Noonan of Shamrock Rovers, Corey Sheridan of Finn Harps. In defence, you have Ryan Butler, Josh Cullen. No, not that one. Vinny Leonard of Dundalk, Josh Cullen of Finn Harps, by the way. Adi Solanke of SC. Ade Solanke of FC Lorient. Ushi McDonough of
Venezia. Venice.
Venice. Oh, Venice. Yeah. I was doing this in rehearsal and I still butchered it. Finn Sherlock of Hoffenheim. Sean Spate of Dundalk. Then in midfield, you have Rory Finneran of Newcastle United. Victor Osavuna of Shamrock Rovers, who will be going to Arsenal. Raman Martos of Almeria. Grady McDonald of Brugge. Goodness Ogbonna of UCD. Cian McMahon Brown of Burnley. Max Kovalevskis of Shamrock Rovers, Brody Lee of Cork City, Gavin McAteer of Finn Harps, Jay Numa of Benfica, and Michael Noonan, the newly crowned champion of the League of Ireland, Michael Noonan of Shamrock Rovers. Not Shamrock Rovers aren't the League of Ireland champions. Michael Noonan is. So that's a hell of a squad there.
Yeah. Go through the squad really, because it's worth going through all the names, because it's such a talented squad, and they all deserve their own bit of all deserve their bit of praise, though, today, because they've got us this far, and going to do us even better when they get there. But yeah, the goalkeepers obviously have George Maloney, Alex Noonan, Corey Sheridan. Corey Sheridan is the only one this season that's really been playing first team football. Played quite a number of games with Finn Harps. Very talented young keeper. He's actually played with the North before, but thankfully he's back in playing with his real country. He's from Donegal. Obviously, he is a Donegal man, so it's good to see him involved. He's really earned this call up as such because he wasn't really in the picture for the squad, and he's one of them lads that he's shown that getting first team football in the League of Ireland is going to get you in there. So he's probably one of the future. He's probably at the moment he's probably looking at probably being the third option. Just I'd say just mainly for the fact that he has come into the squad quite late in the campaign. He wasn't involved in the early qualifiers and then the elite rounds, and he's worked his way in since, which is quite impressive because I know Colin O'Brien has been very loyal to the lads that's got him here so far. And so fair hats off to Corey for getting into the squad at this stage. And George Maloney at Southampton, very, very talented player, goalkeeper. He's probably one of the very few 15-year-olds still at this tournament. Like, there's a lot of lads in that team for under 17, over 2 years older than him. And George has made his way into the squad. He's one of the few, obviously it's the 2008 tournament, but he's one of the 2009s in the Ireland squad, and he's a very young 2009. So, like, he's already massive for his size. He's a brilliant goalkeeper with ball at his feet. I've seen a lot of clips, a lot of moments of George Maloney, and he looks a real excellent talent and is one for the future. And it'll be interesting between himself and Alex Noonan, who starts in goal, because Alex Noonan, obviously Shamrock Rovers, has been on the bench for them in European competition. I'd say he wasn't far off a first team debut this season. Very talented goalkeeper, but it is a real question now who he will go for, Dave, in goals, because the two of them both been excellent. Both of them have played a lot in the build up to the tournament. I know George and Alex have both shared really minutes, and it's been a question mark who does go for in the end. Alex has played all the qualifiers as such in the preliminary and then the elite rounds, but then a lot since the build up to the tournament, George has played a lot of minutes. But then the last camp, Alex played, I believe, 90 minutes in the first game, and then George only played 60 minutes in the second game. So maybe he has decided that Alex is going to be his number one for this tournament, but maybe I'm just guessing and maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, that's the goalkeepers, very talented goalkeepers. On to defenders. Ryan Butler, right back at Wexford, another this year that's really come onto the scene after playing a lot of first team football. He had a lot of competition actually at Wexford with Calum Hornet, who's an excellent Irish right back who's a couple of years older than him, and he has really earned that spot at right back for his club, and he is going to be a real asset in this competition for Ireland because Colin O'Brien likes to go with a 3 at the back or 5 at the back. Sometimes it is a 4, mainly it is a 5 back. So he can play right centre half or he can play right wing back. It'd probably be wing back in my eyes. And yeah, he's another really talented player. Josh Cullen at Finn Harps, one of 3 Finn Harps lads in the squad. We can say maybe he's a real Josh Cullen, Dave, if you want to say that, because I know you probably prefer this Josh Cullen. Another really good defender. Played a lot of minutes with Finn Harps this season. Very, very good young player. Real leader at the back. Very good with the ball at his feet. And another that's earned his place through playing week in, week out in first team football. And then Vinnie Leonard, Dundalk, centre half. One of the best centre halves in the first division this season. Still another very young lad. Has been excellent for Dundalk. Has a lot of interest for clubs abroad. I know Celtic are really pushing hard to sign him. I don't think we'll see him in the dock after this season, in all honesty, because he's just been so good. And he won our Young Player of the Year. Another very talented defender who I think is who's ready for that next step, and he's going to be key to Ireland in this run tournament. Ade Solanke, he's the only one in this tournament, in this squad, actually has tournament experience. If you remember back to the under 17 Euros a couple of years ago, Dave, he was in the squad. He was playing 2 years up. He was brought into the squad. He only played a couple of minutes in the final game, but he got that experience, and hopefully he can use that experience to his advantage. Flying wing back or left back, unbelievable athlete, very good ball carrying his feet, and obviously very good one-on-one defender. And he's missed a lot of time over the last couple of years with injuries, but thankfully he's really got over them. He's likely to sign for Bournemouth next year. Obviously Lorient are a sister club, if you want to put it that way, not a some people might say feeder club, I'll say a sister club, and he's like to go on and sign for them after that because he's an excellent young player. Oisin McDonough at Venezia in Venice, another very good centre half, another ex Wexford player. he was always captaining this group and no age groups on the way up. Captain them a lot at under 17 level so far this year. Another very, very good centre half who sometimes goes under the radar because obviously he's living abroad. I do think if he was probably staying at home, he would be definitely playing first team football now. But he's took the gamble of going abroad, which you can only credit him for, and hopefully his development at in Spain, Italy is continuing what it is now. And then Finn Sherlock, left full back at Finn Harps, Hoffenheim, from Cootail and Cavan, ex Shells, and he's a superb young player. He was involved in the last 17s campaign, played a lot for them, and then back in this campaign again. He's missed a good few camps, unfortunately through injury. He's only just back from injury now, so it'll be interesting to see how up to speed he will be because he's missed a lot of time as of late with injury. Hopefully he'll be good to make an impact because he's a superb player. Lovely footballer as a left full back. One of them left backs is a really good full back to watch. Ball at his feet, and I think he's a massive future ahead of him for Ireland. And hopefully he's fully fit for the tournament. And then Sean Spite at Dundalk, another 2009 in the squad, been brought up into the squad after doing very well for the 2009s in the under 17 qualifiers last month, who won all three qualifiers. Dave, if you remember, they completed that. The Ireland played Armenia in Dublin, beating Austria in the final day, and he captained that group, and he's earned a spot in this group. Probably he impressed a lot under Paul Assam in that last squad, and he's probably not going to be one that's maybe going to start these games, or he's going to be maybe coming off the bench if he can get in, maybe if there's injury. So, but he's going to benefit so much from his experience because he has so much competition there, but he's going to learn from older lads.
And Rory Finneran
onto the midfield. Rory Finneran, obviously, I think a lot of people know him. Made his debut for Blackburn at 15, youngest ever player to play for Blackburn actually, and has now moved on to Newcastle United, obviously one of the biggest clubs in England. Watched him a couple of weeks ago in the UEFA Youth League against Benfica. Superb, I thought he was. He was their best player. Actually, they struggled a lot, but he really stood out, got a beautiful assist. Number 6, he really is like the linchpin of this squad. Funny enough, unfortunately, reminds me of Declan Rice when you watch him play a lot. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, if you can tell me, but when you watch him play, he reminds me a lot of what Declan Rice was like at that age or a little bit older. And yeah, Rory's a superb player. Another that missed actually the initial qualify. Oh, he didn't miss, but he played and he wasn't fully fit, and you could see it. And now he's getting back to himself, and you can see there's a real player in there. And then obviously Victor Osimhen, we all know the 2 million euro man, the man that broke Mason Wheeler's record. Probably the man has a lot of pressure on him now over the next year or so to impress in the League of Ireland after going for that money. But we all know there's a reason why he's going for that money. He's a superb talent. He can play anywhere on this team. He can play on the wing. He can play as a number 10. He can play as a wing back. He can play even as deeper in midfield. He's just that good as a player. He's so talented. He's another 2009 playing age group up. I think he'll probably end up playing, if he's starting on this team, he'll probably play a wing back, I do think, because he played a few games at wing back in a few of the warm-up games and was absolutely superb, I thought. Always looking to come on the ball, and then comes in midfield a lot to get on it. So and he actually has played as number 6 actually for a half of one of the games. So he's just such a good player that I'd say I do think his best position really is a number 10 because he's always looking to take the ball on, and he's such a good ball carrier. But I do think maybe wing back could be his role in his team, and then maybe competition for maybe number 10 spot. Ramon Martis, probably our only. He's a Spanish born player, very flary midfielder, very good technically, ball at his feet. Brilliant finisher, brilliant ball carrier. There's a lot of competition for that number, you'd say, that number 10 spot, and he'll probably be very confident he can get his. And he always had a good start to the season with Almira. I do think that he maybe his Spanish flair might make a difference in this tournament because it's something different that even if he's not starting, he comes off the bench and he can light up in different ways. So yeah, he'll be one really exciting to watch in this tournament. Then Grady McDonald, Club Bruges. He's a record ever sealed from the Canadian Premier League when he left Vancouver FC. I believe he was the youngest ever player to sign a pro contract in the Canadian Premier League, and then moved on to Club Bruges last year, in January actually. And for record seal, I believe it was 500k. He's currently with Club Next, which is they're still Club Bruges, but they play in the second tier of Belgium. He's another that's missed a decent amount of time over the last couple of months with injury. Actually, fortunately, the squad's been quite unlucky, but they're all fit now, which is thankfully is good. But Grady he's a superb midfielder. He's a real engine on him that he covers so much ground, can carry the ball very well. He's a different type of midfielder at all. Maybe he's our most maybe energetic in terms of getting around the place, making things happen, getting stuck in. And he's a real future on him. And like a club like Club Bruges are not going to sign you if they do not think you are an excellent young player, especially taking him over from Canada, which is not a short flight. So he is another that could really impress. And he's kind of gone under the radar maybe over the last 6 months or so, maybe because he's been missing a quite a time. So yeah. And then goodness Agbana, Dave, thinking back to his last minute goal against Scotland, which leveled Ireland on goal difference with Lithuania, that led to Ireland getting through and yellow cards. It's just probably been one of the better stories that he's got back in the squad, because back then he was with Shamrock Rovers. It probably wasn't going all that well from a club level when it came to the elite rounds. Didn't make the squad for the elite rounds, wasn't selected, and he took the brave step during the summer. He left Shamrock Rovers, where he was playing with under 17s, to move to UCD under 20s, and he's really got back into gear now because he's always been very highly thought of. And maybe he just needed to get to a club maybe where he was considered maybe the main man in his team, and was treated, nothing against Shamrock Rovers, just because of so much talent and maybe in his position as well. But he's gone to UCD and he's been excellent. He's worked his way back in the squad, which is always good to see. A lad that maybe you thought maybe was out of the picture has come completely back in it, and you can see he has the talent. Like, he's a superb midfielder, can play as maybe as a number 8 or as a number 10. He's very strong, good ball at his feet, can finish, he does a lot. And then the last midfielder as such, Cian McMahon Brown. Dave, he was nominated actually last year for the Lansdowne Roar Awards for our Young Player of the Year. I believe he came second. Actually, he was my vote for Young Player of the Year. I gave him Young Player of the Year from my perspective, but he scored 34 goals and 8 assists for Burnley last year between their 18s and 21s. Played a lot with their 18s. He's always been a natural midfielder, like a deeper midfielder, and then he started playing as a false 9 last season with Burnley, and was superb for them. Obviously, the goals and assists speak for themselves. And then like his best position, in my opinion, is number 10. But obviously, a false 9 is somewhat similar, but there was no one in front of him. And yeah, he's an excellent young player. Probably Burnley's standout academy player, I'd say. He's already made his first team debut. I think there's big things coming from him. And like, obviously, there's a lot of competition in the number 10 spots from him as well. But if we are playing a front 2 and he needs to play as maybe that person behind Michael Noonan or behind a Jade Numa, I do think he is well fit to do that. And he's obviously, I spoke very highly of the past. I think there's big things coming from. And then, yeah, onto the attackers. Max Kovalevskis at Shamrock Rovers made his first start for Shamrock Rovers in the League of Ireland last week. Excellent young player. I think he'll probably end up playing at wing back. He got such, I think, mainly in this tournament, because the way system we play. He's such a good athlete, such a good ball carrier, gets down the line so fast, whips the ball in, and he's had a horrible times with injuries. He's tore his ACL. He's done damage to his MCL, so he's had a real tough time for injuries. And now thankfully he's come back at the right time, and it's mad that he's really kicked real back into step straight away, and it shows how highly Rovers think of him. That like they had him playing during the summer with the first team after coming back from the ACL initially, and then he got injured again, and he only returned maybe a month ago, and he's already straight back into the groove, which is great to see. And he's such a highly thought of player, and I think next season in the League of Ireland he'll be one we're talking about. Maybe why was ever not talking about him before is just because of injuries. I think he's going to tear up the League of Ireland next season. And then Brodie Lee, another ex Shamrock Rovers player, winger, has been in the squad from the very start. I don't think he's missed a single camp. He's another that was kind of he was on the bench. He wasn't playing that much. He was at Shamrock Rovers. He was playing with their 17s, a bit like Goodness Ogbonna. Wasn't really in their 20s, and he made the brave step. He went to Cork City in the summer to get close to the first team. I don't think the plan initially was him to maybe be playing the amount of minutes he's been playing with the first team of Cork as such, which is credit to him. He's gone to the first team of Cork, trained with the first team, been on the bench, I think maybe 99% of games since he's gone to the club, and has played a lot of minutes in the League of Ireland, which is hats off to him, because he's gone really from Shamrock Rovers to under 17s to Cork City's first team. And you can say what you want about Cork City's first team. Playing with Cork City's first team is miles ahead of playing with Shamrock Rovers 17s, and it shows the benefit of playing first team football. And he's kept a spot in the squad from doing so, and he was actually quite good when I last seen him play with this team. So credit to him for maybe taking that bold step and going away. And Gavin McAteer at Finn Harps, another very talented player. He's I think they call him the Milford Messi, left-footed magician. Finn Harps, young player of the year, technically gifted player, has been very highly sought of for a couple of years now. Didn't really get his chance with Ireland until really the last year or so, and he's talked about both hands. Very talented player. I do think maybe he might play as a number 10 if he's playing in the squad, rather than, I know if it's a 4-3-3, I'd imagine maybe he might play on the right hand side, or if it's in a 3-5-2, I think he'd play maybe as a number 10 or the furthest forward midfielder. Because I don't know if in my eyes he's really a forward as such, but he's such a talented player. He has that Messi like thing of cutting in on his left, and he scored a goal. His first senior goal was such like what Cole Palmer was sort of do, so he has a bit of flair about him. He's a real talented player. And then maybe you go on to Dave, probably the two big names in the squad, nothing against anyone else, but they're two maybe most household names as such at this stage of their career. Jade Numa, I think everyone knows how highly I speak of him. I've been speaking about him for so long, of all the things I've seen him do. He's probably the best I've seen in Ireland at that age, really, ever, when he was at 15 playing with Cork's first team. And I seen a clip actually of an English fella talking on a podcast last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, saying he was over and actually watching a game of Cork when they were at the first division last season, and he was on about this fella on the wing, and he was like, "Oh, he's called Jade Numa," and so and he was like, he was the best player on the pitch, and he was only just turned 16 and stuff, and it's before like the Benfica stuff that came out. And yeah, some of the things he does is, I think 1v1, he's the most unstoppable player I've seen. Really at that age, I've never seen anyone ever get the better of him in terms of like what he does. People, his pace, his power, his finish ability to go on his left, his right, and like people know how good he is. Like I don't need to say any really that much more, because he's at the best academy probably in Europe in terms of developing you as a player and getting you fast track into the first team. He's with their 23s. He scored in the youth league this season against Chelsea. He was excellent for their 19s last year when they won the Benfica, the Portuguese title, and now on to 23s this season, which I would be shocked really if he's not in the Benfica B team by the end of the season, which is the second year of Portugal, which would be a massive step. And I do think if he's in there, he'll probably even end up getting called up to Ireland 21s at that stage. He might be the type that skips 19s altogether, because he's that level, and obviously he's helped that he is massive. And if you look at the squad photo, Dave, from when they flew out from Dublin Airport, he was the biggest player in the squad by far. So, and he's probably not done growing yet. He's not really maybe filled out to his frame as such. So it's going to be scary maybe in another year or two when he fills out his body. And yeah, the other one, Michael Noonan, he hasn't been involved with the squad a single minute since the preliminary rounds. So the last time he actually played an Ireland under-17 team was this time last year when they played in Belfast. Since then, he's been with the Ireland under-19s, the under-21s. He's the youngest ever goal scorer for under-21s, beating Mason Melia's record, which speaks for itself. If you beat his record being the youngest ever goal scorer for Ireland 21s, you're doing something right. And yeah, we all know how good a player he is. 6 goals in League of Ireland this season already as a 16-year-old. I must say Stephen Bradley's handled him brilliantly in terms of giving him minutes when he needs it. Obviously, we had the moment in Media when he scored in the Conference League last year and become the youngest ever goal scorer in European competition history. One thing is, Stephen Bradley threw him in when everyone thought that he maybe wasn't going to be ready to come into it, and he scored in his debut, it was unbelievable to see it happen. And you see obviously you've seen his mother putting up that he went to school the next day, and it explains how young of a fella he really is. But yeah, obviously we all know a brilliant finisher, very fast. Obviously, he's a lefty as well, so everyone loves a lefty when a lefty does very well. It always looks a little bit nicer in the eye. So yeah, and obviously one more time we're recording, he won the League of Ireland last night and got to stay in Dublin for the trophy celebrations, which was great to see. And I think it's only just the start of him, and getting him back in the under 17s, like they've got to the World Cup really without him. I know he was there for the initial qualifiers, but they've got here past the elite rounds without him and they're prepared without him. So just imagine what he's going to add to the squad now. So yeah, that's the squad from my point of view, Dave. I know I've ranted on there a bit, probably too long, but it was worth giving everyone their bit of due diligence, because they're all very talented.
Well, where else are you going to get that level of analysis on the under 17 squad? There you go. That's why he is doing God's work over at Ref Tracker. So if you want to know more, give him a follow over there. Not too much, though. I don't want his ego to get any worse than it already is.
Is that you?
My ego's fucking out of control, man. That horse is bolted many years ago. No, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah,
but
just
Dave,
what you said.
Who are you looking forward to seeing out of that squad?
Actually, I'm really looking forward to seeing Victor Osabuena. The big hitters, the big guy. Like obviously he's going to Arsenal. Michael Noonan, I know he is tipped to make a move across the water some stage. But Jay Numix, you keep banging on about and want to see what this boy's about. So yeah, they're the guys there that I want to have a look at. I mean, it's an eclectic bunch there. Obviously, Grady McDonald, who I didn't know was Canadian, and Osavuna can play for Russia. I didn't know that. Well,
his mother's Russian.
the name,
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah, no, do you know what? Like, yeah, I want to see some of these young lads and the ones that you're talking up and seeing them myself. But I just want to see the lads play. I
Yeah,
just want to see them play.
yeah. It'll be their first really national televised for a lot of them. I know Michael's already played on TV before. I'm sure some of Jaden's games, actually, some of Jaden's games have been on TNT at the Youth League and stuff. But a lot of them haven't really going to have this covered what they're going to have in terms of Everton being on RTE, and it's going to be another Everton's going to be heightened. Thankfully, probably the crowds will be a bit smaller in Qatar, so it's going to be what they're kind of used to in terms of crowd. And a lot of them actually are, much may help. A lot of them have played first team football in the League of Ireland, so they're going to be scared and awesome. And it's probably one of the most confident groups I've seen really from an Ireland team because they back themselves so much. And I know if a couple of them have texted me saying they're going to win the World Cup, which I take great, not in what I, because it's not like I think, oh, it's great, or I think it's they're overconfident. I think it's just that they back themselves, and I don't think they won't take anyone lightly, and they think, but they just
Every
believe
team
in
has a
themselves
chance.
so much. Yeah, they just believe in themselves so much, and they know how good of a players they are, which sometimes Ireland teams do not really do. They don't show what the quality they have. Sometimes you see them, a lot of time we'd see with Irish teams, they'd kind of maybe sit off a team for the first 10, 15 minutes, get a gauge of them, and the other team might score because they've sat too deep, and then you realise after 15, 20 minutes, we're better than these boys. So I think this group of players are going to come into these games thinking we are the best team here, which I don't think I wouldn't take any negative thoughts from whatsoever.
No, as long as you do it, look, either way, what they're young lads. I was actually trying to find betting odds, but of course you can't get betting odds in an underage tournament. I presume you can't. Just to see who the favourites are. But like, there's no pressure on these boys. They've done
No,
incredibly well to
yeah,
get there. Go and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the experience. And hopefully it's your first of many international tournaments. But no, best of luck to them. Like, I can't wait to watch them. And of course, you can watch them on RTE. All the Ireland matches on RTE. Premier Sports are showing all the games as well. And if you want to go over to FIFA Plus, they're also showing all the games too.
yeah.
Right.
It is worth saying. Results at this stage do not really. Obviously, it is important. You want to win, you do stuff. But if you lose or if someone's a bad performance, it doesn't matter. Like it's not senior level where your job's on the line. It's about building these experiences and learning from them. Really.
Yeah, that's it. Like, there's no, either way, doesn't matter what happens. They've done us proud and they're going to do us proud. And it's brilliant. There's no pressure on these boys whatsoever. So I'm not going to be going on. I expect to see this. We need to be getting to that. No. You boys, if any of you are watching, I'm sure some will watch it. Obviously, they know they're familiar with yourself, Conor, Rep Tracker. And, no, best of luck to them. There's no right or wrong here. Do you know what I mean? Just go and enjoy it. No pressure. And I'm looking forward to watching them play. Best of luck to these lads when you're playing. Just enjoy it. That'd be my advice. Right. We're going to leave it there, Conor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching as well. We will be doing reactions and stuff throughout the tournament as well. So we'll be keeping. I'm going to try and watch all the games anyway, as best as I can. Oh, Conor, you'll be holed up somewhere watching everything. And yeah, no, best of luck to them. And really hope now we go far in this tournament. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Thank you. If you want to support us even more, guys, don't forget you can do that on Raw Plus $4.99. Get a bit of extra content over there. We are working on more stuff, guys. Apologies, we haven't been as active as we'd like to.
And what you do if you're on Spotify, Dave?
Oh, you give us a 5-star review, right? And also head over to a Facebook, Instagram, and a Twitter account. And if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It does help us. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the year, and we're nearly at 4,000. And we want 5,000. So please tell your friends, your families, your enemies. I don't care. You're bitten aside. Doesn't matter. No judgment here. Just want us to get to 5,000 by the end of the year, if possible. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Conor, thank you. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And yes, come on, you boys in green.